Marc Marquez's crash at MotoGP Thailand helps Jorge Martin maintain championship lead. The intense battle for the win between Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez at the Thailand MotoGP took a dramatic turn when Marquez crashed. Here's the expert take on whether it was a clean or dirty move. Stay tuned till the end. The 2024 MotoGP Thailand Grand Prix unfolded as a thrilling spectacle, marked by Francesco Bagnaia's victory over Jorge Martin by 2.9 seconds. However, the race's true highlight was the intense battle for pole position between Bagnaia and Marc Marquez, which captivated fans and showcased the skill and daring of two of the sport's finest riders. Throughout the race weekend, the duel between Bagnaia and Marquez was the focal point, building anticipation and setting the stage for a fierce contest. The Buriram International Circuit, with its tight and technical layout, was the perfect backdrop for a showdown that would test both riders to their limits. The final corner, a challenging first-gear right-hander, became the critical stage where Marquez made his bold attempts to wrestle the lead from Bagnaia. Marquez, known for his aggressive yet calculated riding style, tried to outmaneuver Bagnaia twice at this pivotal point. Approaching from the middle of the track, he aimed to squeeze through on the inside line, hoping to gain the advantage on the exit. However, Bagnaia, displaying remarkable composure and control, was able to anticipate Marquez's moves and blocked his advances both times. It was a masterclass in defensive riding, with Bagnaia showing just enough restraint to keep Marquez at bay without compromising his own position. Marquez's attempts were not without drama. As he lined up for the overtakes, he demonstrated confidence, precision, and a willingness to push the boundaries. Yet he never resorted to overly aggressive tactics. Each time, Bagnaia responded with a clean and calculated cutback, keeping just enough space between them to avoid contact while maintaining his lead. The tension was palpable as the two riders came inches away from colliding, their skills on full display for the roaring fans. The critical moment for Marquez came as he approached turn 9, with a chance to close the gap and mount a final challenge. Unfortunately, in a bid to extract every ounce of performance, he lost control and crashed. The incident was not a typical case of over-aggression, rather it was a matter of pushing the front tire beyond its limit. Marquez was not reckless, but desperate to maintain momentum, and his efforts to save the situation were nothing short of heroic. At one point it seemed as though he might miraculously recover, with his knee skimming the ground in an attempt to keep the bike upright, but ultimately the curb thwarted his efforts. Though Marquez managed to remount and finish 11th, the crash effectively dashed his hopes for a fourth win of the season. Meanwhile, Bagnaia seized the opportunity. With Marquez no longer a threat, he found himself more than 2 seconds ahead of Jorge Martin, who had earlier looked poised to challenge for the win. Martin had led the race from the outset, setting a blistering pace and attempting to build a gap. However, a crucial mistake at turn 3 allowed Bagnaia and Marquez to catch up, bringing the Italian rider back into contention. From that point on, Bagnaia settled into a rhythm that Martin struggled to match. While Martin pushed hard to regain his lead, he made several errors, including going wide on multiple occasions. It was clear that he was on the edge, fighting to keep up, but in doing so, he risked compromising his own race. Ultimately, Martin made the smart decision to back off and secure second place, a move that, though it cost him the win, preserved valuable points for the championship standings. Bagnaia's 9th victory of the season was a testament to his tactical acumen and ability to remain composed under pressure. He had moments of nervousness, as all great champions do, but he managed to keep his cool and deliver when it mattered most. His victory also narrowed the championship deficit to Martin to just 17 points, setting up a thrilling climax to the season with only 2 rounds remaining. As the checkered flag waved, Bagnaia celebrated a hard-earned win, while Marquez was left to reflect on what might have been. For Jorge Martin, it was a bittersweet outcome, missing out on victory yet retaining a strong position in the championship race. This MotoGP classic in Buriram will be remembered not just for Bagnaia's triumph, but for the relentless and dramatic duel that defined the race, showcasing the spirit of competition that makes MotoGP one of the most thrilling sports in the world. At the recent MotoGP Thailand Grand Prix in Buriram, Jorge Martin found himself navigating a challenging and intense race that nearly cost him his lead in the championship standings. The Spanish rider, who had entered the race with a 20-point lead over his closest rival, Francesco Bagnaia, managed to maintain his championship hopes, albeit by a thinner margin than before. In a race characterized by wet conditions and high-stakes competition, Martin's ability to anticipate danger proved to be the defining factor in his finishing second, narrowly avoiding what could have been a disastrous crash. From the onset, the Thai Grand Prix was set to be a dramatic showdown. The pre-race rain had added an extra layer of difficulty, turning the track slick and unpredictable, a nightmare scenario for title contenders like Martin and Bagnaia. Despite the treacherous conditions, Martin initially led the pack, pushing hard to build a gap and control the race. However, as the laps progressed, it became clear that maintaining that lead would be no easy feat. On the fifth lap, Martin ran wide at turn 3, which opened the door for both Bagnaia and Marc Marquez to overtake him. This set the stage for a tense battle, with the championship leader fighting to stay in contention and manage his race strategy. The turning point of the race came on lap 14 at turn 8, where Marquez, running in second place, lost control and crashed out. Just behind him, Martin faced a similar predicament, with the front of his bike beginning to give way. Remarkably, it was Marquez's misfortune that played a crucial role in Martin's survival. As Marquez went down, Martin was able to adjust his trajectory, using the visual cue of Marquez's fall to anticipate and mitigate his own slide. The Spaniard later acknowledged that seeing Marquez's crash allowed him to react in time to save himself from following a similar fate, a moment of quick thinking that potentially saved his championship lead. Throughout the race, Martin struggled with the bike's handling, experiencing several close calls as the wet surface continued to compromise grip. Despite these challenges, he managed to maintain control and hold off threats from riders like Jack Miller and Pedro Acosta, who were pushing hard behind him. It was clear that Martin was riding on the edge, ready to react to any sudden changes, which ultimately allowed him to cross the finish line in second place. While he didn't secure the victory, his efforts ensured that he only conceded 3 points to Bagnaia, who took the top spot in the race. The wet and slippery conditions amplified the tension between Martin and Bagnaia, both vying for every possible point as the championship battle heats up. For Martin, the race was not just about the physical challenge, but also an immense mental test. The pressure was palpable, knowing that any misstep could see his lead evaporate. Reflecting on the race, he admitted that the experience was nerve-wracking, especially given how much was at stake. Martin acknowledged the difficulties faced by riders in such unpredictable conditions, noting that the pressure of competing at this stage of the championship under such circumstances was something he hoped others would not have to endure. Despite the intense battle and the near miss, Martin remained composed, displaying sportsmanship in his comments about Bagnaia. He praised his rival's skill, recognizing him as a formidable competitor and a multi-time world champion, capable of adapting to various conditions. Martin's acknowledgement of Bagnaia's prowess highlighted the mutual respect between the two, even as they battle for the coveted title. Hey MotoGP fans, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest action.